Hey guys, this is Melissa with momsimplelife.com, and I just wanted to do a quick garden tour of kind of like what we have going on in our backyard, things that worked, things that didn't for us, maybe mistakes that we've made or I made. Anyways, so this is actually our cucumber garden trellis system, and one thing that I found out this year about cucumbers is you just want to start them by seed. You don't want to buy transplants because transplants seem to die all the time, and I didn't know that about it, so I ended up buying transplants this year, and I would say all of them died except for 2. So all these plants are actually by seed except for 2 of them, which I don't even know the difference between them. But as you can see that they are actually dying back because it is the beginning of fall and we had a lot of rain the last few weeks, and also it's been getting pretty cold. But as you can see, we do have some cucumbers on here that I need to sit there and pick and also pickle, because we try to do a lot of canning and preserving of the stuff that we have in our garden, and you can see there's quite a bit here from the last time I came out and picked. And then some are like super over ripened, and I don't know if I'm going to be saving some seeds of these because, well, I probably can. I just got to remember which ones they are. That's a thing. It's like, as a gardener, I keep forgetting to label some of my plants most of the time. I know these are cucumbers, but I don't know what type. I think they're like Marketmore and Ashley, something like that, and some pickling cucumbers. And just because they have a tag, that doesn't mean that's what it is, because most of these did die, and I just put some seeds in the ground and they all popped up and started producing a lot. So things that failed are this system here. Like most of us, we see cute things on Pinterest, and it was just so, like, I mean, it would be cute if I didn't have to work so much and so that I could come out here and water these all the time, but I kept forgetting to water, and then they were dying. And I tried spinach, and I could never grow enough spinach enough to eat an actual salad of spinach. So this is actually like my 3rd time trying to grow spinach, and I'm just not as successful at it because it seems to bolt and go to seed right away, and I think I end up putting it in too much sun. With this system, I saw this on YouTube on how this lady decided to make one of these, and I did this before I was doing the Mittleider gardening method. But I still tried it out this year. I tried it with the sawdust and sand instead of the actual dirt. This is the sawdust and sand from last year's potato barrel that we did, and it just seemed like it didn't do as well as the rest of the garden because it wasn't getting an actual automatic watering system watered. Like, it wasn't on a schedule, so they didn't do so good. So I just ended up letting it go and pulled out all the plants. I had several types of lettuces growing in this at one point, but it was just, I don't know, I just didn't really care for it at all. Maybe I'll try strawberries again one year if I could get it filled with dirt or something. I'm not quite sure, honestly. So if we go over here, this used to be our pea garden. We were going to do a fall crop, and then I decided not to because I've been feeling a little overwhelmed with a lot of work and stuff, so I decided not to do a Pea Fall Garden this year in the system. But this is where all of our peas were. We had a lot more than we could pick, but it was really nice while we had them. And then you can see over here we have all of our tomatoes. We got 7 types of tomatoes on each side, and there's 2 set. One side is sawdust and sand, the other side is organic soil, and all these plants are exactly the same on each side. So basically, if I start here in the middle, I have early girl plant, one on the sawdust and sand, one on the soil, and if I move down, I have Jet Star over here, and then Jet Star over here, and I continue going down, mirroring the type of plants I have. And on the other side of the bed I have different plants, and all of these are Indeterminate Tomatoes, and that is why that they're planted so close, and they actually worked out great. I love this system, and I'll continue doing my tomatoes this way, of actually trimming them down to one plant and getting rid of all the suckers. I feel like I had a lot more ripened tomatoes without diseases this year. Okay, so let's move over here. So we did already harvest our Yukon Golds that were right here in one of these sacks. We only got 2 pounds of Yukon Gold, so it wasn't all that great. And honestly, we don't know how we're gonna do this year. We do need to harvest some of these, but honestly this year I was a lot more lazy with gardening, and I didn't really fill the barrels like I should have, like I did the year before. So who knows how good or how bad we did this year. So I'm hoping next year I will start prioritizing what I do a little bit more and get this done and start scheduling my after work activities a little bit better. But it'll be interesting once we do harvest these. So those are probably ready to be harvested soon. Over here we have, I don't know if you can see this, these are collard greens that I let go to seed, and since again I was lazy, I'm pretty sure that the seeds are all rotten. These are biannual plants, and you don't get the seeds, harvest seeds the year that you plant them, you get it the year after you plant them. So it takes 2 years to produce seeds. And then these are a whole bunch of volunteer tomato plants that came popping into my garden from last year's tomato plants that used to be right here. We used to have onions in here, and then we ended up having a dog go through here, and like some dogs been getting through our fence, and we also had carrots dug up and things like that. So I'm not quite sure if I did the onions wrong, or if it was just, you know, a dog coming through and tearing them up, but none of them looks good, and none of them really came up, and you could kind of see one sitting right there with some weeds. We got over here some carrots. We got a jungle of tomato plants coming up, and I'm just going to let it go since it's kind of late in the season. We got some Swiss chard. We had a lot of Swiss chard in here, and we also had a lot of lettuce in here too. That did really well. We probably had more lettuce and Swiss chard than we could even consume. And some more Swiss chard. Back here we have some pepper plants. I ended up harvesting a lot of different peppers, from jalapeno to bell pepper. And let's see here, you can see one little tiny Swiss chard plant is trying to come up. And then these are broccoli or white cauliflower. I can't remember which one I got because it had no tag, but I knew it was one of them. So that's, so far they're not producing any of the heads, but we will see. We have overgrowth of kale in here. As you could see, kale is very abundant. It produces a lot more than you'll ever need. Let's see here, and then over on this side I had pepper plants also. I think they were like some type of sweet banana peppers, or they ended up being really skinny and long. So I'll probably put a picture of our harvest that we had this last time into the video. And then over here we have different types of zucchini plants that are all dying because the weather has turned and powdery mildew took over in vengeance, and it is just the end of the season, so I'm kind of letting it go. So we'll be pulling all of these out. What I did like this year was these baskets. These are from Dollar Tree. I ended up putting paper on the inside, but as you know, the paper will decompose, and you can kind of see that there because my man ended up weed whacking around the basket and then kind of took part of that away, but it is starting to decompose. But I mean, on how much we ended up harvesting from these plants, I think that they did pretty well. And I wouldn't mind actually doing these again if I could get them onto a better watering system than the one I have back here. This is not a good watering system at all, and that is probably why we have a lot more disease in this side of the garden. The rest of the garden did okay with that type of watering system. I didn't have any diseases or issues with that. The only issues I had was like last year I ended up getting powdery mildew and they wiped out my tomatoes, and this year, or no, I ended up getting blight from my watering system last year because of late blight, and then this year it's just powdery mildew. So I don't recommend that system. That's just my lazy way of getting out of coming out here every single day. So you could kind of see some zucchini still coming up, weird enough. And then over here I have a little bit of mint leaves growing. I wanted to sit there and try to turn this into like mint oil and stuff like that. So I still need to do that and find a recipe somewhere. And then we'll go to the front yard and I'll show you what's going on there. If you guys want to see the rest of our yard, what it kind of looks like, we have like our firewood stack over there. This is our new patio we're going to be building with our new deck. Our old deck ended up collapsing on a Halloween party, and luckily no one got hurt. It never actually broke away from the house. My kids are playing over in their garden or their toy section over there, and they got like a little house over there, and it's pretty cute. Back up, got like a little barn shed thingy over there, and then some more wood over there for our fireplace. So we have an old furnace, and we mostly burn wood during the winter. Since our furnace doesn't work so well, we need to get another one soon. And I'll take you to the front yard now. I'll show you guys our dead blueberry plants. I ended up forgetting to water these. As you can see, this one has a lot of blueberries that dried up, and they ended up starting dying because I forgot to water them. But I mean, these containers worked good, and the Mittleider weekly feed, I had so many blueberries on them, so many little ones, and then I ended up, you know, being careless and kind of forgot to water, and then they ended up dying. I know the neighbor was surprised of how many blueberries we ended up getting on this plant for the first year, it actually being in a pot or being in our yard. And then we did cut down these, and then they're trying to come back again. So we're probably going to have to pull the stem out. And then here is our sweet potato garden. So I don't think we're going to do so well with our sweet potatoes because I planted them so late. Then I forgot to put the plastic on. And then I ended up keeping the plastic on for several weeks, and some of them did come back. And it was only half of the garden that came back. And then this is just, it looks like a lot, but honestly it's only probably going to be half the garden. I did try to sit there and bury some of the stems, but not all. And then I've been just leaving the plastic on practically the whole summer. Even though it got hot during the summer at nighttime. So that's it. That is the end of our garden tour. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know I've got many requests on wanting to see the overall garden that I had. So I'll see you guys next time, and thank you for subscribing. Bye.